Did you lie about being able to speak multiple languages? There are things you should and shouldn't do. The quiet conference room stirred. Honestly, I was confused by this unexpected situation. However, strangely enough, my body moved on its own. I apologize. From here on, I will proceed with the meeting. My name is Lucas. I'm a 28-year-old single man. After graduating from college, I quit the company I first worked for and joined my current company mid-career. This company is a major IT firm, and many of its employees are from prestigious universities. On the other hand, I graduated from a decent university in the countryside. Moreover, because I was a mid-career hire, the atmosphere towards me was undeniably cold. In particular, Claire, the department head, was especially harsh. Lucas, how many years have you been working now? This is my 6th year. And you're still at this level? Must be nice to have low expectations as a mid-tier university graduate. Claire would say these jabs without even looking at me while playing with her hair. This sort of exchange happened all the time. Her ridicule of my education and mid-career status was particularly cruel. My ability at work has nothing to do with my college degree. That's what I kept telling myself day after day. Still, the other employees in my age group were all from prestigious universities. Some were managing large-scale projects. Others were climbing the corporate ladder. Compared to them, I couldn't hold a candle. Eventually, as Claire often said, I began to undervalue myself and grew to dislike who I was. Then one day, I was assigned a presentation. It wasn't a huge deal, but if successful, it could benefit the company. More importantly, it was a project that could help me regain my confidence. I headed to the meeting room for the discussion. On my way, a woman called out to me from behind. "Are you Lucas?" The voice belonged to Sophia, a department head from another division. "Yes, that's me." "Hi, Sophia. Glad I got it right. I'm Sophia, the project leader for this project." Sophia and Claire joined the company in the same year, but their personalities and aura were completely different. Sophia had a refined and elegant air about her, like a proper lady. When she smiled and extended her hand for a handshake, I found myself mesmerized until Claire's voice cut in. "Could you get back to work? You're blocking the hallway." The hallway was wide enough for anyone to pass, but I greeted her regardless. "Hello, Claire. Oh, it's you. Stop wasting time and get back to work." "Yes, that's why I'm heading to the meeting for the project you assigned me." Claire didn't respond, her face lost in thought. After a moment, she spoke again, as if suddenly remembering something. "Oh, that boring project? Perfect for someone as useless as you. Do your best." Claire had no clue what kind of work I was doing. She didn't care. What irritated me even more was her mockery of Sophia's project. Still, I couldn't bring myself to talk back, so I hung my head and waited for her to leave. "You haven't changed, huh? If you carry on like that, someday, everyone will give up on you." Sophia was the one who spoke up for me. "What's so wrong about being honest? Shouldn't a manager communicate properly for the sake of their team? Your words are filled with malice. A manager's duty is to guide and overcome challenges together." I was happy she said what I couldn't, but this was the company hallway. The gazes of the other employees felt sharp. Unable to withstand the awkward atmosphere, it was Claire who broke first. Yeah, I get it. I hate when you play the goody two-shoes." With that, Claire walked off briskly, though her tone was sharp. It felt more like she was escaping. As I watched her retreating figure, Sophia spoke to me. "Sorry about Claire. Is she always like that?" Sophia peered at my face with a worried expression. Caught off guard by her beauty so close, I quickly turned my head. "Yes. She's always like that, but it's the truth, so I've gotten used to it." "You shouldn't get used to that. You need to value yourself more." Her concern seemed genuine, and the sadness on her face stirred something in me. In this department, I'd never felt valued. Maybe that's why Sophia's words and expression felt so unfamiliar and uncomfortable. From there, Sophia and I continued to the meeting room while discussing the project. The project team consisted of 4 members: Sophia, myself, Henry from PR, and James from IT. Other than Sophia, everyone else was male. However, Sophia never gave off any sense of gender barriers. She was always warm, approachable, and easy to talk to. Perhaps because of the comfortable atmosphere, the meeting was lively with ideas. While this was only the first meeting, intended as an introduction, we managed to discuss substantial details. It had been a long time since I felt such excitement and enjoyment in my work. Lucas, don't hold back if you have any ideas. Feel free to share them. Fresh perspectives from newer members add a nice touch. Sounds great. Let's absolutely make this a success and leave our president, Mr. Anderson, speechless. Henry, James, and of course, Sophia are all senior to me. But none of them ever belittle me. They valued my input instead of belittling me. I felt lucky to have such a great team. I'll be right back, I'm going to the restroom. Feel free to keep things moving. Sophia left the room, and the conversation continued. Seriously, Sophia is amazing. I can't wait for the presentation. Yeah, she's so different from Claire. Hey, James. Oh, sorry. Normally, bad-mouthing a manager doesn't sit well with anyone. Perhaps because I was Claire's subordinate, James quickly apologized. I don't know much about Claire, but she's always scolding me. The words slipped out unintentionally. That sounds rough. Her team must have it tough. But I think you're doing a great job, Lucas. Thank you. I'll work even harder. That's the spirit. Youth is a wonderful thing. In reality, in my department, everything revolved around Claire. Everyone worked desperately to avoid getting scolded. As a result, the atmosphere was always tense and filled with pressure. I wanted to ask about work, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. If I did, I'd either be mocked for being incompetent or, worse, ignored altogether. Out of fear, everyone in the department kept to themselves. It was a vicious cycle. You said you don't know much about Claire, so you don't know that story either? That story? Claire is the daughter of William, executive director. What? I'd only greeted William a handful of times, but I knew who he was. Serious, responsible, and the epitome of a workaholic. The thought that Claire was his daughter left me speechless. The revelation left me completely at a loss for words. Some say she became department head because her father's an executive. So it was nepotism, huh? But was it really that simple? If your parent works at the same company, wouldn't it force you to work harder? Hey, we're getting way off track. Here, this should help one last push. Sophia handed me some snacks and a can of coffee. Sorry about that. I'll stay focused. And thank you for the coffee. I wondered how much Sophia had overheard. I'd heard about her reputation even from my own department. In reality, she was even better than I imagined. Kind, approachable, and, though beautiful, her occasional glimpses of charm made her even more captivating. Still, I couldn't help but wonder what would Sophia think if she knew her peer had been promoted because of nepotism? But I brushed the thought away. Sophia had stood up for me and helped me. I wanted this project to succeed for her sake. Besides, Claire might have her own struggles. Having your parent as a boss isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Doubting her without understanding felt wrong. Not long after, the meeting came to an end. All right, that's it for today. Thank you, everyone. Let's make this a success. Thank you, too. Looking forward to next time. Everyone grabbed their materials and headed back to their respective departments. Lucas, can you stay back for a moment? Sure. What could it be? Did I make a mistake somewhere? Did I somehow upset her? Here, try using this. It was a pile of documents from past project proposals. This is. Lucas, you struggle a bit with planning, don't you? It wasn't so much that I struggled, I just never had proper experience. Had I caused trouble for the team because of that? I'm sorry for being a burden. No, no. If it's difficult, I want to teach you. I'm not upset at all. Oh, Sophia's words from earlier flashed through my mind. A manager's duty is to guide and overcome challenges together. Sophia was trying to help me overcome the areas I struggled with. My chest grew warm. And at the same time, I felt tears welling up behind my eyes. Thank you. I'll do my best. I wasn't used to being treated kindly at work, and I felt so happy I almost wanted to cry. Take it easy, okay? I'd be a little lonely if you suddenly became completely independent. I wondered how lucky Sophia's subordinates must be. I didn't mean to criticize Claire, but I couldn't help feeling envious. Lucas, do you dislike Claire? Huh? The sudden question surprised me. She has a sharp tongue, but she's not a bad person. Right. So, I hope you won't hate her. I want Claire to acknowledge me. That's why I'll keep working hard. Hearing that, Sophia smiled happily. I see. All right, let's blow her away together. Yes. Sophia, I look forward to your guidance. After that, she helped me with the areas I didn't understand, and the study session came to an end. Lucas, do you want to exchange contacts? Sophia opened her address book and made the suggestion. Are you sure? Was it really okay to get the contact information of a senior I admired? Wouldn't I be punished for something so lucky? It's so you can reach out if you have any questions about the project. Oh, right. Thank you. Of course. It was for work. Feeling embarrassed about my earlier excitement, I calmed myself down. All right, I've got your contact now. I wondered if she already had Henry's and James's contacts. As I thought about that, she said, what if I told you work was just an excuse? Pardon? Just kidding. See you later. Sophia walked away. It was a mischievous, almost devilish smile. I didn't know Sophia could make an expression like that. Still, that joke was enough to give me a heart attack. I must have looked way too elated. As soon as I returned to my department, Claire yelled at me. You're late. Do you think this job is a joke? I'm sorry. Claire, you're still here? It was rare for Claire to still be around after office hours. Was there some sort of trouble? What? Am I not allowed to be here? That's not what I meant. Whatever. I'm leaving now. With that, Claire slammed the door and left. Oh, okay. Have a good evening. What on earth was that all about? I knew working overtime wasn't ideal, but I had finished my tasks. If thinking about it won't solve anything, then forget it. I'll go home, eat dinner, and sleep. In the end, I never figured out Claire's intentions. After that, my life at the company changed dramatically. Sophia's advice to rely on others when struggling really hit home. Thanks to my experienced teammates, I learned so much. I took that knowledge back to my own department, sometimes even teaching others. At first, everyone was caught off guard. Because I, who was considered a lowly mid-career rookie, had taken action. It took time, but the atmosphere in the department began to change. More people started communicating, and the sound of cheerful conversations gradually increased. Well, Claire's daily sarcasm didn't go away, though. Still, people who used to be indifferent began to stand up for me. Today was no different. Have you been getting a little full of yourself now that you're doing better at work? It happened when I submitted the materials Claire had requested. There wasn't anything wrong with them, so her comment caught me off guard. No, I didn't mean to. I tried to explain, but Claire wasn't done. Lately, you're clinging to Sophia. What's so great about someone whose only asset is her looks? Normally, I would let it slide, but today was different. She's been teaching me properly, and I genuinely respect her. What's with you all of a sudden? I'm doing my best, and Claire, I think that's a bit unfair. Claire seemed genuinely surprised that I'd spoken up. As she fell silent, other employees chimed in to back me up. That's right, Claire. Lucas has been working really hard. Exactly. The way you said that wasn't fair at all. Claire's expression darkened with irritation. Whatever. I'm done. With that, she stormed out of the room. Once she left, I felt a wave of guilt wash over me. I wanted Claire to acknowledge me, but acting like that wouldn't help. Was I a failure as her subordinate? As I sat there, feeling down, my seniors spoke up. Lucas, don't worry about it. Yeah, Claire was in the wrong this time. I was grateful for their support. But I couldn't shake the lingering unease. Would I ever be able to understand Claire? With those thoughts lingering in my mind, I returned to my work. Weeks passed. My relationship with Claire hadn't improved. But the project with Sophia continued to progress smoothly. At this rate, our upcoming business negotiation was guaranteed to be a success. The entire team was confident and ready. But none of us noticed the ominous shadow creeping up on us. Claire, do you have a moment? I have a message for Lucas in your department. Mr. Anderson, good evening. Of course. What's the message? Thank you. Well, actually. Oh, is that so? I understand. I'll let him know. I just came up with a great idea. Everyone, great work. Tomorrow's the big day, let's make it a success. The negotiation was finally happening tomorrow. It felt like the time had flown by. I gained so many new skills, and if this succeeded, it would give me real confidence. Maybe even Claire would acknowledge me a little. I found myself thinking about that. All right, we're done for today. See you all tomorrow. With our goodbyes said, the team started to head out together. As we left the company building, I suddenly realized I'd forgotten something. Sorry, I forgot something. Don't wait for me, please go ahead. Got it. Be careful heading home. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. See you. It seemed I'd dropped my house keys. During the meeting, the sound of them jingling had bothered me, so I'd left them on the table. They were probably still there. As I approached the meeting room, I heard someone talking quietly. It was a woman's voice, muttering something to herself. Feeling a little guilty, I peeked inside. That's everything. I hope tomorrow will be okay. It was Sophia, alone in the room. It seemed she had sent us all home so she could review for tomorrow by herself. Her expression was darker than I'd ever seen, far from the cheerful, lively Sophia I knew. Even Claire has moments of weakness, so Sophia must, too. I have to make this a success. I froze. Sophia had started crying. In my surprise, I accidentally touched the door, making it creak loudly. Ah. Who's there? I'm sorry. I just came back for something I forgot. The awkwardness was overwhelming. But Sophia must have felt it even more. I searched desperately for the right words, but nothing came. Sorry, you caught me at a bad moment. Sophia apologized first. And I felt ashamed. That's not true. I really respect you, Sophia. Sophia looked at me, stunned, her mouth slightly open. I see. Thank you. It's embarrassing to show you such a weak side, though. I think this side of you is great, too. Ha! Crap. I messed up. I meant to say I like seeing her human side, but it came out all wrong. Wait, Embarrassment swallowed me whole, leaving me speechless. Thank you. I know what you meant, Lucas. Sophia, is there anything I can do to help? I wanted to do anything to support her. I didn't want Sophia to cry anymore. Even if it was just a little, I wanted to be her strength. After thinking for a moment, Sophia spoke. Can I let myself be a little vulnerable? Of course. Please, lean on me as much as you need to. Sophia finally showed a small smile. Do you remember when I asked if you disliked Claire? Yes. I remember. People say Claire only got where she is because of her father, but that's not true. Sophia's eyes were serious. And there was no trace of a lie. It's harder because her father is an executive. She's constantly compared to him, and even when she succeeds, people find ways to criticize her. Sophia spoke about Claire as if she were carrying the weight herself. And yet, she works so hard. Compared to her, I feel weak and pathetic. Sophia. I'm terrified about tomorrow. I'm so scared I might fail. Sophia, who was admired by everyone, must have always been fighting her own battles. She had been pushing herself forward, encouraging herself to keep going. I, too, always believed that Sophia would be fine no matter what. And maybe, all those expectations we had for her turned into pressure. Sophia. Just as she had opened up to me, I answered her with my true feelings. Please rely on me. I'm on your side. Lucas. I'd be sad if you tried to carry everything on your own. Just lean on me, bring it on. Ha, you're so dependable. At last, Sophia smiled again. Lucas, there's actually a secret I'd been keeping. Can I tell you? A secret? Sure, bring it on. I was thrilled that she was trusting me with something no one else knew. I braced myself to accept anything she said. Actually. What? Being ready to accept something and not being surprised are two very different things. I might have just heard something unbelievable. Finally, the big day arrived. Of course, I was nervous. But more than anything, I was happy to be facing the event alongside this team. Lucas and I will stand in front to handle the facilitation and note-taking. Would you two support us, please? Understood. We finished the final checks for our presentation and waited for the clients to arrive. Lucas, thank you for last night. I feel so much better now. It's no problem, but I was pretty surprised, you know? Aha, sorry about that. Sophia's smile at that moment was radiant. Her smile suited her best. Is there something on my face? No. Sorry. Ha, you're strange, Lucas. All right, let's get started. Yes. We stood in front, greeted the room, and began our presentation. At that moment, one of the men in the room raised his voice. Why isn't this in French? This is a negotiation with our company, isn't it? Ha! I didn't understand what was going on. There are participants from multiple countries for this negotiation, so we arranged for an interpreter, right? I was told she could handle it. The room erupted into a murmur of confusion. Outside the room, Claire was eavesdropping on the situation, a smug look on her face. Serves them right. They got too carried away. It's punishment for all that flirting. Inside the meeting room, complaints and grumbling voices grew louder. Did you lie about being able to speak multiple languages? There are things you should and shouldn't do. Honestly, the unexpected situation left me stunned and confused. But for some reason, my body moved on its own. Excuse me. I'll take it from here. Wait, what? I stepped in front of Sophia. Let me begin the presentation. I said this in French and proceeded. The chaotic atmosphere in the room gradually began to calm down. So, there is an interpreter? Oh, Sophia, sorry for the misunderstanding. The presentation ended smoothly. However, the real challenge was yet to come. Handling the Q&A session in multiple languages. When I glanced to my side, Sophia looked at me with worried eyes. This was my chance to show her I could handle it. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. Yes, may I? The first person to speak up was from Italy. I responded in Italian. Then came questions in German, Portuguese, Spanish, Korean, and Chinese. About 30 minutes later, the Q&A session ended, marking the conclusion of the negotiation. We received loud applause and words of appreciation. After escorting the clients out, our team gathered back in the meeting room. We had planned to hold a post-meeting review. But that was clearly not happening. As soon as we sat down, I was bombarded with questions. Lucas, what the heck just happened? You owe us an explanation. Yeah. Who are you, Lucas? I was sweating for a moment, but wow, you were amazing. I explained everything to my teammates. Well, I can speak about 10 languages conversationally. Not just the ones I use today, I could hold conversations in 10 different languages. But I had never mentioned this to anyone at work. That's an incredible skill. Why were you hiding it? 10 languages? That's insane. Yeah, you should be proud of that. Everyone continued to praise me one after another. But deep down, I couldn't fully enjoy their compliments. Because I had a trauma, the reason I could speak so many languages, and why I had chosen to hide it. If you don't want to talk about it, that's okay, but if you're willing, I'd like to hear it. The people in this room saw me for who I was inside. I knew that even if they heard my story, their view of me wouldn't change. All right. Nervously, I began speaking, carefully gauging their reactions. My father was a language teacher, so growing up, our house was filled with different languages. He also loved traveling, and he often took me overseas. Every time I encountered a new country, I became more captivated by its languages. Over time, studying next to my father became a routine, and before I knew it, I could hold conversations in multiple languages. It was a skill I was proud of and had always seen as my strength. In my previous company, I used it as a key asset. After all, in business, speaking English is usually enough. But I felt different, better than others, and let it go to my head. Lucas, sorry, I can't read this document. Can you help? What? You can't even read this? You really are hopeless. At first, people praised my skills. Lucas, you can really handle anything. That's amazing, you're so cool. Thanks. If you need anything, just ask me. But eventually, my attitude pushed everyone away. I can just use my phone to translate. I don't need your help anymore. You really lack humility. Why don't you just work alone? One by one, they left. Meanwhile, my colleagues kept growing and improving, while I isolated myself, unable to ask for help. Eventually, I couldn't stand being there anymore and quit the company. I told myself I would never make the same mistake again. I started thinking my skill was nothing special. I can speak more languages than most people. It's not something extraordinary. It's not something worth bragging about. That's what I kept telling myself as I went about my life. But living that way, I slowly lost confidence in myself. Slowly, I lost all confidence in myself. I started to dislike who I was and grew weaker, more hesitant. Even under Claire, it was the same. I didn't hate her, but her words always reminded me of my powerlessness. It was painful because it brought back that same trauma. But being part of this project changed me. I started enjoying work and feeling a sense of purpose again. Most of all, I regained a little bit of confidence. When I finished telling my story, Sophia gently rubbed my back. Thank you for sharing such a painful experience. But you really helped us, Lucas. If I had a skill like that, I'd show it off every day. You just get too full of yourself, so no way. The room erupted in laughter. I was so grateful that they still saw me the same way, even after hearing everything. It made me so happy I could barely contain it. I felt like all my efforts had been worth it. Just then, I noticed someone's gaze on me. I turned around and there was Claire, standing in the doorway. Claire? What are you doing here? What was all that just now? I wasn't told anything about this. Claire glared at me, but this time, I didn't flinch. Instead, I took a step toward her. I checked with upper management after the negotiation. Claire, you knew about this, didn't you? Wait, what? Is that true? Yes, you knew, but you deliberately didn't tell us. You wanted us to fail, didn't you? I stepped in front of Claire, pressing her for an answer. That's right. I didn't say anything. Why would you do that? Do you realize how serious this could have been? Because I hate that part of you. Claire snapped back without an ounce of remorse. All you do is rely on your looks to get attention, even seducing someone else's team members. That's not true. No matter how hard I work, they always say it's because of my father. You could never understand how that feels. You'll never understand. Claire's frustration overflowed as she lashed out, seemingly unstoppable. I thought about how Sophia had always worried about her. This misunderstanding between them felt like such a waste. At that moment, I made a decision. That's not true. In fact, Sophia understands better than anyone. Lucas. Wait. If you care about Claire, you should tell her, I said firmly. Sophia gave a small nod, so I continued. What are you talking about? Sophia is our president, Mr. Anderson's daughter. What? Everyone's jaws dropped. Sophia, is that true? Sophia nodded quietly. Sophia told me how hard it is to be seen as nothing but the boss's daughter. She said she admires you. Claire, that you're strong for enduring it and pushing forward. She thinks she could never measure up to you. Tears welled up in Claire's eyes. Her lips trembled, and the tears she held back finally began to spill. I didn't know. Sophia stepped forward and embraced her. I'm sorry. I knew I should have spoken up sooner, but I stayed silent. You must have been carrying this burden all on your own. I'm the one who should apologize. I was so jealous of you being respected by your team that I did something unforgivable. The two of them cried, holding each other tightly. Later, I learned something surprising. Claire had been tough on me not out of malice, but because she wanted to say something as my manager. But I had never noticed, always relying on Sophia instead. Had I failed as Claire's subordinate? All I had ever wanted was her approval, yet somewhere along the way, I'd lost sight of that. Lucas, I looked at the presentation materials you made. You put so much effort into it, I was genuinely impressed. Hearing that, I was stunned. The smile she gave me then was the most genuine and beautiful I had ever seen. Claire later reported everything to upper management and requested a transfer to a branch office. That branch was known as a dead-end assignment, so the news shocked everyone. But Claire seemed determined to continue supporting the company from there. She really was a strong person. Lucas, keep doing your best, okay? Yes. Claire, please come back someday. Do you think I can? Won't everyone hate me? I won't. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting, too, Sophia added softly. Sophia had come from another department to see Claire off, her smile warm and kind. From now on, let's really get along, okay? Claire, we'll always be waiting for you. Sophia, thank you. The two shared a heartfelt embrace. And then, Claire left. She's really gone. Yeah, it's going to feel lonely without her. Sophia, are you crying? Want to borrow my shoulder? Hey, don't get carried away. When I teased Sophia, she turned bright red and scolded me. Well, if I were to borrow anyone's shoulder, I can't imagine it being anyone but yours. Wait, what does that mean? I asked in surprise, but Sophia just smiled mischievously and wouldn't tell me. Figure it out yourself, okay? Hey, that's not fair. Looking back on everything, there were hard times, but I was truly glad to have met Sophia, my team members, and even Claire.